Hey everyone, it's Mike here from the SEO Pub, and today we're going to switch gears a little bit. One thing I get asked about all the time is how do I organize everything? How do I stay on top of everything? How do I make sure with working with a bunch of different clients, make sure things are not falling through the cracks? And today I'm going to show you a little bit, I'm going to show you mostly one tool that I use to help me organize my time and all my tasks really simply. Before we dive into that though, I want you to head over to the SEOpub.com. If you haven't signed up already, make sure you sign up for the newsletter there that I send out every week with tips like this right to your inbox. Also, if you're interested in how I can possibly help your company grow, head over to clickconsulting.com and click the button there to request a proposal and get the process started. All right, with that, let's dive in to, I want to introduce you, if you've never heard of it, this is a tool called Akiflow, and Akiflow is almost like a secret weapon for me in how I organize things, how I keep track of everything, and just how I plan out and manage my days. Akiflow is a combination of task management along with calendar management tool. So there's a lot of task management tools out there. Like I used to use Things 3 forever. There's tools like Todoist that do a great job with to-do lists, and as the name suggests, and tasks and managing your tasks. But what they lack is a really good calendar integration and management. There's also tools out there like Fantastico is a great calendar tool, but it kind of falls, it's not as good with managing individual tasks and to-dos and organizing those kind of things. Akiflow brings both those things together and does a great job of integrating task management with your calendar. It also has some really great capture features, which I'm going to get into, that help me to, no matter where I'm working, I can quickly capture tasks and get them in my lists and plan them out and manage them. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a few minutes. But real quick, I'm not going to go over all of Akiflow's features. I'm going to go over just some of the basic ones, the ones that I use most often. I jumped ahead here a couple weeks. Usually my calendar looks a lot more packed than this, but as it gets closer to that week, this will a lot of this will fill in. I jumped ahead 2 weeks just to give you an idea, show you how I use Akiflow to manage my calendar. And I use Google Calendar. This is integrated with Google Calendar. I actually have several calendars I use for Google Calendar lets you divide it up and make separate calendars under one account. So I have like personal, business. I have a calendar for the SEO Pub. I have a calendar for my consulting business. So there's different calendars that are all rolled into one. And then Akiflow has integrations with Google Calendar, Outlook. I think pretty much any popular calendar application that's out there. Those are, I think, the two biggest ones. And now at first it looks like just, your basic calendar. But what it also has over here is it will organize all your to-do lists and tasks. And there's a couple ways that you can add tasks in here. So one, you can just manually come over here and add a task. So let's say I need to write a proposal for someone I just had a call with, let's say. So I can create a task just like that. Now, this is just a to-do list. So maybe there's a couple other tasks that I need to add after that call that I had. So I need to sign the NDA that they're sending me. I need to remind them to grant access to Google Analytics and Google Search Console. And maybe there's some other things that came up during the meeting, but just to give you an idea. So what I can do now, you have your basic to-dos that are, they'll show up initially in your today folder. But I can schedule these out. So maybe the proposal is due on Friday, but I'm going to work on it on Wednesday. So I can actually drag any task I want into the calendar here. And I can change the time. So maybe I think it's going to take me 2 hours to write the proposal. It would probably take a lot longer than that, but let's just say 2 hours. The non-disclosure agreement, they said they're going to get to me Monday morning, so I'll just put that in my calendar for Monday. And then if they haven't granted me access yet, I want to remind myself on Tuesday to follow up with them to grant that. So you can take all your tasks and drag them and schedule them for when you're going to work on them. but it also goes a little further than that. It also uses natural language processing. So if I wanted to, instead of that proposal task, let's say I had to write a proposal on June 26th. So I give it a date, and now what happens is it pops up down here at the bottom for that day. And any other tasks that I could do, so let's say I wanted to add this signing the NDA, so we'll put sign NDA on Monday, June 24th. Hit enter, and it goes down here. So I can do the same thing now. So it'll collect your tasks on the days that you're saying that you need to work on them, and then I can do the same thing where I drag it up and schedule it whenever I want. I can do the same thing with this write a proposal, and if I decide it's going to take a little longer, I can schedule time for that. Now, if you are working on this week, if you're on the exact week, you don't have to actually put the dates. You could just put tasks, due on Friday, and it will schedule it for that Friday. Now, that's the first part of it, but what I really like is, yes, you can go in here and create tasks that you need to work on, but where Akiflow really helps me is it helps me collect all my tasks from other places. Akiflow has a bunch of different integrations, and if you go into their menu and look at integrations, I have, like I said, several calendars set up. They integrate with Zoom. You can also they integrate with Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. So whatever meeting, conference call software you use, you can set that up so when you plan meetings and invite people, it'll set up a Zoom call, just like Google Calendar does. I also have it integrated with Slack. And then it also will work with some project management tools that are out there, like ClickUp, Asana, Notion. Well, Notion's not a project management tool, but it does integrate with Notion if you're using Notion for some crazy reason. Jira, Trello. For right now, it doesn't have an integration with Monday, and that's the one drawback on this tool for me. It's on their feature request list, and people have been requesting it, but it hasn't happened yet. I would love if they did an integration with Monday. There is a similar tool out there called Sunsama, and this is Sunsama. Sunsama does have an integration with Monday, which is nice. My problem with Sunsama is I just really don't like their user interface. I don't like the way it works. I don't like, it's just not as intuitive to me as Akiflow is. I've thought about switching to it because of the Monday integration, but I just don't like it. So that's Sunsama. If you want to give it a try, though, they do have a 2-week trial, which is what I was just trying out to test out their Monday integration. It's not a bad product at all, and a lot of people love it. You're welcome to try that out. I just find Akiflow a lot easier to work with. And then along with these integrations, they also have Zapier, of course, so you can kind of paste on whatever sort of integration you want, or IFTT as well. You can paste on some integrations through that. But despite them lacking the integration with Monday, this is the biggest thing that I like about Akiflow, is how it allows me just to capture my work from other places. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, it has the Slack integration, has the Gmail integration, and they also have a command bar that you can use. And I'm going to show you how these work. So inside of Slack, and by the way, if you haven't already, we have a free Slack channel, the SEO Pub. Everyone's free to join. Just go to the SEO Pub, hit the link at the top, and you're welcome to join. We have just under 400 members in there right now at the time of this recording, so feel free to join. But anyhow, with Akiflow, what I can do with this Slack integration is I can take any message in here, and if I hit this save for later, it feeds it into, if I go into my inbox now, there's the message. So it takes any message inside of Slack, and I can turn this into a task. I can click on as many of these as I want and turn these into tasks. Makes it really easy I work with a lot of clients inside of Slack, and in their channels, I can just quickly hit that save it for later, that save for later button, and it comes right into Akiflow as a task for me. And then I can schedule it when I need to schedule it. And plan it out, whatever I need to do with it. Sometimes it's a bigger project or, small project that I need to put inside of Monday, and, there's multiple tasks with it, which you can add subtasks to things, or I just, like I said, need to put it into Monday. But this just lets me capture things really quickly and turn messages into tasks. Now, I can do the same thing with Gmail. So inside of Gmail here, I just sent myself 2 dummy messages just to show you how this works. But what you can do inside of Gmail is you can take any message, and if you star them, it does the same thing. Now, the integration with Gmail is sometimes a little bit slower, but if you hit the sync button, it checks it like every 5 minutes. There we go. So then it pulls in these emails as tasks, and it actually includes a link here where if you click it, it'll take you right into your email account and right into that email. So sometimes I get emails from clients or colleagues that, something that needs to be done, and it's something that maybe I'm not going to work on right now, but what I can do then is star the email and it will go right into Akiflow. So that also allows me to capture tasks from other places. And the third way, and probably the way that I use it most often, is they have this command bar option. So at any time, and this happens a lot, where I use this all the time is when I'm doing client calls. Let's say we're doing a client call and something comes up that it's something I need to, maybe there's a report I need to get to a client, or there's something I need to follow up with them on. I can quickly hit Option Spacebar on Mac, and there's a similar command key on shortcut on Windows. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's Option Spacebar on Mac, and it pulls up this bar where I can just, whatever the task is, I can send report to whoever. I can give it, I can assign it a time. I can do whatever I need to do with it, but I can just quickly do that, and it goes right into my inbox also. I can also do the same thing to create events if I need to. So I could schedule it as let's say it's a sync up meeting on Monday, June 30th at 1:00 p.m. And then I can set the duration. You can see down here. So, and it goes by minutes. So I can do 60 and it will schedule it for 1 hour. I can also invite guests. So if I hit the @ button, I'm not going to hit it because it's going to bring up client emails and stuff, but I can hit the @ button and it will bring up your contacts, and you can invite guests. You can also add a description if you want to, just by hitting / if you need to give it a deeper description than just the meeting title. You can add tags, deadline. That wouldn't really work for a meeting, but you can do that for tasks. And then you just hit the new event. And if we go to the 30th, you'll see that it's scheduled right there for an hour. Now, I showed you how you can schedule tasks, but one thing that Akiflow also lets you do is if you like to do calendar blocking, you can do that, where you can block off times in your calendar and then put specific tasks within those time slots. So let's say, for example, I have some time slots here. These are some projects I need to work on. So I have these times dedicated to those projects, but let's say I wanted to schedule say at 2:00, and when you click on the calendar, by default it'll start to schedule an event, but I can change that to a time slot instead. You can also schedule tasks directly into the calendar, but what I want to do is schedule a time slot, and let's say I'm going to work for 2 hours here. And this is going to be some time I'm going to spend for, let's say, researching the proposal that I mentioned I'm going to work on. So we'll just title this proposal research. And now this is a time slot. Now, what can you do with time slots? Well, let's say I'm just going to make up some tasks here real quick. I need to review their Google Analytics. I need to review Google Search Console. I need to review competitor 1, review competitor 2, whatever the tasks are that I need to do. What you can do is you can actually take these tasks now and drag them directly into this time slot. So you don't necessarily have to schedule tasks at specific times. You can just put them into a time slot. And if I click on this time slot, You see all the tasks show up there, and I can change the times that are dedicated to them if I want to, but all the tasks that I'm going to work on during this time block are all right there inside of that time block. I use this time slot thing a lot for, you can see my days. Like I have this email Slack admin catch up in the mornings. And then at the end of the day, I do an email, just any unanswered messages or Slack. It's mostly Slack messages. I will catch up on at the end of the day and make sure they get answered. I'll schedule, 45 minutes throughout my days here as just admin work. And then after I schedule this, I can change it. You can see I have all these different meeting types in here, but we'll make it, I have an admin calendar. So we'll schedule it as admin. And then in this time slot, I'll put things that are just kind of simple tasks that need to get done, answering emails, if there's any kind of invoices that need to get taken care of. It could be replying to Slack messages, just those kind of simple routine sort of things. Instead of letting them kind of break up my day, I just batch them into admin time slots and put them right in there. And one other thing I wanted to mention is you can also set up projects inside of Akiflow. Like I have my consulting business, I have the SEO pub as separate projects, and then I have all my clients are in here. And what you can do with these projects is you can actually drag these onto the calendar if you have if you want to create a time slot where you're working on something for that project. So like the SEO pub, if I had something that I needed to do for that, I can create a time slot just by dragging that over. You can also go into any tasks, and down here you add a project. So like I can go in here and I can add a project, or you also have tags that you can add. I don't use the tags, I just use the projects, but if I wanted to, if this was for Click Consulting, I can add clicked onto there and make it for that project. And the last thing that I'll mention, last two things. One, it does have a feature where you could pretty much replace a tool like Calendly with Akiflow. I still like Calendly because Calendly lets me integrate Stripe into Calendly. If I want to give somebody a link to schedule a consulting call with me, I can set it up that they have to pay for the time slot first, and then they can schedule it with that integration. Akiflow doesn't have anything like that. But for everything else, you could actually pretty much replace Calendly. And all you do is you hit the share availability button, and you can just drag whatever time slots you want to make available for someone. So you pick the times. If you go into the more settings, then you can set it up that which one of your calendars is going to go into, where you're going to meet. So Google Meet or Zoom, or if you have Microsoft Teams in here, whatever integrations you have. And then you can just hit the save and copy. And after you save it, you can copy the link here. And you could send this to someone, and then it pulls up just kind of, it looks almost exactly like Calendly, and somebody could schedule in one of the times with you that where you gave it available. So like I said, it could pretty much replace Calendly for most people. And then the other feature that it does have is you can invite people into your calendar and workspace. You can work collaboratively inside Akiflow. I don't do that. I like to have my calendar as my calendar. I don't invite anyone else into my calendar, but there are teams, and there have been cases in the past where I've worked with people that we had like a shared calendar that we worked off of, which you could set something like that up inside Akiflow and add team members, and you can share, everyone can see the tasks and work together and work collaboratively on projects that way. I think something like Monday is much better for any kind of collaborative work you have to do, but it's there in Akiflow if you wanted to use that. So again, just to review, the biggest reason why I use Akiflow is really this capture functionality where I can be grabbing tasks from other places and creating my to-do lists and my task lists and just shoving everything into Akiflow, which I then can schedule and manage inside of there. All right, so that's it for this video. If you haven't yet, make sure you head over to the SEOpub.com, sign up for the newsletter there, and I'll catch everyone in the next one.